here, get your hand on my pocket. In my lecture, no El Hajj, Malik repeat, I betcha. Sergeant of the Moorish Unified Front toward Islam. Twist your arm like a blunt, won't spark it. Or like Tiger Claw, debark it. Before anyone saw, not Cain, but I'm raw. Long live Iron Sheik, slaying the weak. Rhyming about rims, spinning on their cheek. Making a mockery of the art and hard work. Put in by the veterans, nah, they gotta work. Brutal in a coma, rap heart attack. I'm sure a premier beat would bring the guard back. Can't give it too much time in my rhyme, but I know mostly in rhyme they doing the crime. Build a ball court, a whack remedy. Living right around me is my worst enemy. I see that they look just like me. Award for hip hop when you're not an MC. Mastering the ceremony, very lonely. Rapping genuine, riding the beat ponies. Scrap the DJ and dancer like a phony. If you see me in some skinny jeans, you know they clone me. If you hear me rapping about crap, I'm Coke B. So do me like Big L or J and smoke me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. If you hear I kill Assistant Grand Sheik, just know they're trying to get me down the Drew Ali road. Release me into the hands of Moors dirty, knowing that they conspire and want to hurt me. Offering me dishes with glass splinters, so they'll give me a rod, leave my jacket in the winter. Try to get me through she-cast with no weakness. Don't get it twisted cause you see us speechless. I put more trust in Jupiter KTS than fake Moors with more records than JVS. Telling me they say it, but just want to be paid. Don't want to pay dues, but be men that's made. Pushing like the travel, but don't defend. And only when backs against the wall they want to befriend. That's why I watch no face and beg no friend, cause only out of chambers will be there in the end. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. So fly, no lie, so hot, I know this. Sniff your whack lines, you're so hopeless. Clones and drones, skull and boning. Getting homes for a loan and rims chroming. Crab shooting, watermelon eating. Mad cow, bird flu, chicken stealing. Human raccoon running through daisies. Selling out your race cause you're so lazy. Think you wanna level when he owns your masters, and master is holding his guard in laughter. Thinking you're balling, not me you're fooling. Armchair revolutionaries cooning. Hot like Mims, lynched from trees called Tims. Posing with your fat ass on covers of Maxim. Big fly eye shades under big brims. In some tight jeans you shouldn't wear, you're too slim. Can't stand your flow, we got me snoozing, drooling, falling asleep from your crooning. If I go to your show, it's me that's booing. Even if I may lay with my blood pooling. Go back to the essence with those old schooling. In the next realm I'm just keeping it moving. Don't need a whip, on comets I'm cruising. I'm the spirits, you need a bottle, stay boozing. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I know we're dirty Moors, yeah. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I'm saying I know what Dirty Moors did, I know what Dirty Moors did. I'm going at dirty rappers, lynching Dirty Moors too. Hiding literature that Drew wrote to warn you. They claim to make you Muslim and make you sovereign. With paperwork and filings, they fee out, they rob it. They don't care about his words, throw it out like garbage. Or throw it at you when you're active, not passive. When they want to talk about like off a trampoline mattress, treat them like a vamp or a teen actress. Get stabbed with the brand like a mean savage. This Inquisition divine, all others average. Millennium Renaissance, heroes in our classes. Fed up with the czar controlling facets. Ask if they heard about Moors, they say no. But Masons, they obviously know. Down the handshakes and rituals with skull and bones. They even know about owls burning in Bohemian Grove. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. Dirty Moors killed Drew. I read the FBI papers on loyal Moors, emergency fund rapers. Moorish literature and divine Bible changes. Might as well say Drew Ali was born in a manger. Prophet puts poison inside and his food smell danger. Got me treating every Moor like a stranger. Grand sheep pumpkin, stumbling drunk in their feds. What was proclaimed for every meeting was not read. Some Moors are so active, prophet can't be dead. Thanks Moorish teachers away, I can't be led. Actions speak, then I consider what's said. And what's said was study, then study yourself. Honest to the prophet over Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. Everybody wants to be just like Drew Ali, but nobody wants to care about Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did.
This great man of God cannot in any way be controlled by the white man. Isn't it interesting in the movie that you never knew Elijah Muhammad had farms, restaurants, grocery stores, department stores? You never knew Elijah Muhammad did anything but mess with women and meet with prisoners. Fard Muhammad's name was never mentioned. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, that revolution, the uncontrollable forest fire, is personified in the religious teachings of the religious works of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This great man of God cannot in any way be controlled by the white man. Isn't it interesting in the movie that you never knew Elijah Muhammad had farms, restaurants, grocery stores, department stores? You never knew Elijah Muhammad did anything but mess with women and meet with prisoners. Fard Muhammad's name was never mentioned. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, that was the lineage. Noble Drew Ali. Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Fard Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. Never mentioned the lineage. It was all in isolation. Elijah Muhammad. This great man of God cannot in any way be controlled by the white man. Isn't it interesting in the movie that you never knew Elijah Muhammad had farms, restaurants, grocery stores, department stores? You never knew Elijah Muhammad did anything but mess with women and meet with prisoners. Fard Muhammad's name was never mentioned. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, that was the lineage. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Fard Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. Never mentioned the lineage. It was all in isolation. They want to give this brother Freeman an Academy Award for mumbling and shit, as if he was Elijah Muhammad. They're going to want to do that. They're going to want to give Denzel to Malcolm X. They're going to want to give him an award. They're going to give him an Oscar for that shit. Remember last time he was a soldier that took no money for fighting in the Civil War? They gave him an Oscar for that. He said, man, so I'm going to give you $12. He said, no, I want 14. Elijah Muhammad. This great man of God cannot in any way be controlled by the white man. Isn't it interesting in the movie that you never knew Elijah Muhammad had farms, restaurants, grocery stores, department stores? You never knew Elijah Muhammad did anything but mess with women and meet with prisoners. Fard Muhammad's name was never mentioned. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, that was the lineage. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Fuad Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. Never mentioned the lineage. It was all in isolation. They want to give this brother Freeman.
They never mentioned the lineage. They never mentioned the lineage. They always want to stray away from the lineage, while at the same time connecting themselves to it. The lineage of Asiatics all over the world. All over the world. All Asiatics all over the world, they're Moors. I don't care where you go. But anywhere in the world that there's an Asiatic, know that those are Moors. Anywhere you go. Anywhere. That's my dad sending me messages today. Hey, your devotees should go to Morocco, because I went to Morocco and, you know what I mean, it seems you guys did some crazy stuff in Spain, saying you're Moors and all that stuff. You should probably go check, see what you did over there. Because I went to southern Spain and I went to Morocco. That's what my pops is telling me. Only because he got the book 77 Amazing Facts or whatever. Right? Where do you think I learned from? He studies. We had a library at the house with the bottom shelf with the big books that nobody used to want to go touch those ones. We had the encyclopedia. Right? And that's going across the board in our whole family. On our dad's side, it was about be a scholar. No. Have library at the house. We had a library at the house. And a Negro black color play, we don't know what's going on. When even Steve Coakley told us. How Steve Coakley tell us and we didn't know Steve Coakley told us? How come they weren't pumping this one? How come they're pumping all this other stuff about Boule and all that stuff, but they're not pumping the one about him talking about Noble Drew Ali is the foundation of everybody? Because nobody else gets mentioned. There's nobody else to give honors to. You're either going to give honors to Marcus Garvey, or you're going to give honors to Noble Drew Ali and then going down his line, because everybody else is pretty much a sellout as far as this side is concerned. Across the planet, they got Kwame and Kuma and all these people that they could say, oh yeah, we're riding with them, our brothers from another mother, and come back home and all that stuff. When the foundation is we're from here. Drew Ali said we're from Missouri. If you're from Missouri, then you're probably from here. You probably didn't come from anywhere. Steve Coakley knew. Now, if Steve Coakley knew, who knew? Because Steve Coakley knew everybody. If you check his Rolodex of all the names that he mentioned, all the people that he ever called out ever, his list is like Bobby Hemmett's book list. Steve Coakley's list of people who he called out by name is like a Bobby Hemmett book list. So he knows. He's not in the dark Negro and all that. He studies. We know he studies. We know he studies. Just like we know Bobby Hemmett studies. Just like we know whoever else studies. Right? And for the other people, who never ever heard of Steve Coakley, ever, know that you got played by your own. Who didn't tell you about Steve Coakley? They tell you about all these other niggers out here. Tell you about all these other black guys. All the black guys. He's known by the black guys. How come he knows the foundation? And he's leaving it up to you. But he told you. Noble Drew Ali, Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Fard Muhammad, and then going down the line from there. Now, do you know Nation of Islam is #1 in charge of the Negro, black, colored people after Noble Drew Ali? They were the second in command. And like Anur Majid said, they started with 120,000 members. From where? Where they get 120,000 members from in 1930 to join Allah's Temple of Islam? Where do you get that from? Where do you get 120,000 members from? Now you want to know why they're the biggest whatever today. Yeah, because they started with 120,000 members. Because if all of them, more said 130,000. You know, how? Where'd those people come from? They didn't just start something, start going on the street, and then they have 20, they have 100,000 members off of standing on a street corner in 1 year? No way. Right? That's where some of your treasury money went. People aren't going to bring that up. Then they start telling you about other stuff. Wildernesses of North America and problem book and all this. Now I'm going to tell you that, oh yeah, we're going to stop doing everything Moorish Science Temple of America. And we're going to stop doing things Moorish Nation and all that Moorish BS. Imagine what the freaking imagine what the meeting was like. Imagine what the meeting was like when they told everybody, you're not allowed to wear your fez anymore. You're not allowed to have a nationality card anymore. You're not going to be calling yourself El and Bey and Day and Ali and all that. If you are called that, it's going to be because we give it to you. And you're not going to talk about Noble Drew Ali, and if you bring him up, if you make any type of insinuation, if you in any way bring up, mention, suggest something with Noble Drew Ali, we are going to deal with traitors how traitors are supposed to be dealt with, because there are traitors. And then remember, Steve Coakley's not here anymore. He mentioned Noble Drew Ali. El Haj mentioned Moors. Khalid, he said he's a Moor, and he said Noble Drew Ali. You got the 2 strikes and you're out. He would get a chance to even enjoy a little piece of it. Even get a chance to enjoy a piece of it. He heard about it, it made sense, and then but then when you again go into the history, because we just study, honors to Steve Coakley, who taught us to study. And when we study and then we realize, hold on a second. El-Hajj was having some power play stuff with Farrakhan. Then they just got him out of the way and they just switcheroo. And then Khalid, he got the same thing that El-Hajj got with Elijah Muhammad, banning him and all that stuff. Telling him he can't talk about stuff and all that. And then just like El-Hajj, Khalid came back pleading, you know what I mean? Master teacher, you know what? I licked the bottom of your shoes and all that. I took bullets for you, all types of madness. Could you let me back in the stuff because, you know what I mean? I just want to be part of this because this is all I know and you saved my life and all this. Man didn't even respond to him. No response. No response. And then finally had enough after all these years. And at the meeting of the masters or whatever it was, where everybody was there. Everybody who loves Khalid Muhammad was there at that thing. Hemet was there sitting in the front. He was cussing Hemet out. Talking all this stuff, all this BS. And everybody was there. Everybody was there. And he told them, Islam, I'm a Moor. After that, I don't know what happened after that. Right? And certain people are still around, and we want them to know that we know. So because we're not dummies, we study. So just like they assassinated Steve Coakley, because he talks himself about times almost getting assassinated. Right? Died for the cause. Not for his selfish self. Not his selfish self. Yeah, I know. It's something about it. Yeah, let's go pull it up. Let's go pull it up, because let's go pull it up. That's actually right. That's right. That's really right. And of course we have to play the Casanova Bay version. Islam.
Those of you who've been around me know that I've now begun to go back to myself. Go back to that which I believe will sustain me and that which will help to purify me. And have begun to push back and ignore that which I had fallen back down to. More and more I am being guided to study more. If you are not grounded properly, then you are not going to pick up the correct vibrations from the universe and the cosmos.
Right? Like all there he's talking about nationality. Grounded. Mooring a boat, grounded. ground the boat. So in order for you to even have a connection to the divine, you have to have a nationality, or you have to be grounded. Remember, it's Khalid Muhammad.
More and more, I am being guided to study more. Or if we are trying to lift our brother or sister up, the way we do it is just as important as what we say. How we approach them is just as important. Huh? More and more, I am being guided to study more. I have found since my days with the Nation of Islam and no longer being in the mosque, that I now draw from all of our spiritual expressions.
Right? Why? Because he found out, just like El Hajj found out, that these people are playing games. They're playing games.
And that I now have come to, as many of you have heard me say many times, while I was supreme captain or national spokesman or whatever in the Nation of Islam, that if it were not for Africa, if it were not for the original black man and black woman, there would be no Islam, no Christianity, no Judaism, none of the world's major religions.
And then he said, what he said right before that, right, was how you tell it to them. So now he went out and got them by saying the black. See, everybody got the applause or whatever. He wasn't dumb nigger. He was studying. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's an orator. He'd been lecturing for years before this. Think this is just some happenstance? Throw this out there and just to say something? Good one pulling this up again.
As Dr. Joseph Ben Yakin and Dr. John Henry Clark and others.
Right? Who did he mention? Dr. Joseph Ben Yakin, who told these people in his books that we're Moors, who has a Moorish PhD. Right? Dr. Ben, who came out and said we were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S and all that, spelling it for you. Who also knows that he's not Negro, black, colored, or whatever, because he has a nationality. And then John Henry Clark, who he's blind, and he knows that he has nationality, and nationality is the order of the day, and you're not Negro, black, colored, telling you the same stuff that Noble Drew Ali told you in the 1920s. And then your black scholar guys, this is your guy, Khalid's your guy, John Henry Clark's your guy, Dr. Ben's your guy. All of them are repping for the Moors, and you're over here like a dummy. You don't want to get down with Moors because some guy on YouTube said some stupid stuff. Some Moor over there did something crazy, so we're not Moors. And then looking at us like we're tripping or something because we're like, all right, you want to play games with them people? You go right ahead. And if you're playing games with them, that means you're on the same side that they're on, right? Which is what everybody starts figuring out, right? You're my boy and stuff like that. You having tea with the police chief or whatever, chilling, and no conditions changing, or what's going on here? Or you just are here for tea? That's it. You can sit with the police chief, and no conditions are changing. Oh, okay. See where you're at.
Have taught us would be in existence if there were no original black man and woman and no Africa. Africa as it is called now. More and more I am being guided to study more. And I hope that the ancestors will guide me to touch on this Africa thing. To touch on Asiatic. Oh, they say, oh, you got to know what you're doing, boy. You know it's a whole lot of us in here. I understand more. I'm a Moor. I understand that nationality is the order of the day. I understand that. More and more, I am being guided to study more. I can't say that I love you, that I care for you, that you are my sister, you are my brother, taking the prefix BR off and leaving other, that you are my other self. And I do not act morally and righteously toward you. I cannot do it. I make myself a lie. More and more, I am being guided to study more. Muslim. You a Muslim, Khalid? Yes, I am. But I'm a Moor. Islam. I'm a Moor. And got sense enough to know I'm a Moor.
So how come you don't? How come he's a Muslim? He's a Muslim. Pray and Allah and all that stuff, singing and all that. He's Muslim. And he knows he's a Moor and got sense enough to know he's a Moor. So why are you Christian and not a Moor? Why are you Hebrew Israelite and not a Moor? Why are you Black Power guy and not a Moor? He's Muslim and he's a Moor. And he knows that nationality is the order of the day. So obviously he knew about El Beideh, Al Ali and all that stuff, Noble Drew Ali, Asiatics, the Moroccan flag and all that. He knew about all that. Because to go as far as he went to say Islam, that's far. That means you were in the temple and stuff like that with the Moors. You were there. You're not just doing that and saying Islam and that comes from some Muslim thing. No, that's Moorish. Got sense to know he's a Moor. Right? Moors aren't the problem. But then Moors are the problem. Because all these people are Moors. None of them are Negro, black, colored.
And ain't gonna never argue with you that I'm not a Moor. And wouldn't come in your house or come among you and say I'm a Moor if I didn't feel in my heart, in my mind, in my soul that I am. I would tell you, God damn it, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Ain't no Moor. So if I say it, I mean it. And if I mean it, generally, I say it. Are you a Muslim? Yes. But I know my roots. And I ain't Kunta Kinte.
Let me tell you. If you're not Kunta Kinte, that's because you didn't come from Africa. So when you hear him talking about Africa this and Africa that, you have to have it in your mind, oh, he means Asiatics, not Africans. He means Asiatics when he says African. When he says Africa. He's not talking about what you see today carved out with the Berlin Conference. Now you think that's your home of your ancestors. Stuff carved out by some Europeans is the home of your ancestors? And over there they didn't have a name. Right? They were just Negroes over there. Right? He knew. And he told. And what happened when he told? And that's all. I mean, I'm mad. Just know what the truth is. Because there's truth and there's falsehood. what side are you really on? If you're on the side of falsehood, your time's been over and you'll be done, like Drew Ali says, a breakfast fight. But we want to draw your attention again to the agent activities going on right now by Clif Soulo. This activity that's going on is going to be yet another dead horse, because we can't go out and strangle people, so we're just going to beat this dead horse. So that you realize you better study and stop playing games out here. Stop playing like you're the man who's gonna do whatever, and then all you're doing is nothing or raping the people. Got a call from a mother today. 200 for a phone call. 200 for a phone call. And nothing got solved. 200? Like somebody hits you up. Yo, I was doing some research about the Moors, and how come whatever? You know, I'll answer you, but that's a consultation. So it's going to be 200. That is what people should be talking about. But they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about traders in the Moorish movement. They're going to try to play all of us are one family. All of us are one family for them to get their shine. And again, this isn't about some back and forth. The amount of calls and emails that I get from people just sincerely wanting to know something. And they've been studying for the past 2 or 3 years. And they're noticing people acting weird. What's going on? Like, why are people acting weird? You know, we're sitting back like, well, this isn't for everybody. That's why Drew Ali said, don't grab the plow unless you're willing to do the field. Don't even play with this like that. Because you think you're going to do something to this and it's going to tear you up. Rip you to shreds. Because you thought you could play around with this. Why do people charge for knowledge? Did Noble Drew Ali charge? I'm not trying to be funny, I'm still learning. If you wrote a book or something like that, if you have some authentic shoes that you design, if you carve something, mold something, if you put some beads on something, if you melt organ and make whatever, you have a right to get your due, whatever you think that it's worth, for whatever work you put in to create whatever masterpiece it was that you created. Those aren't the people that we're talking about. We're talking about people who have some knowledge, know people want knowledge, and are telling them $500 for a consultation, or they're telling them, we got some paperwork to tell you for you to know that you're a more, $2,500. And then people are paying. Those are the people that we're talking about when we say selling this information. Right? One of the avenues that these people live. For example, an avenue how these people live off the people, like a vampire, is views on YouTube. Do you know average conscious guy makes $100,000 to $200,000 a month just from YouTube views? Just from views only. The conscious guys, the popular people. Right? They're getting paid with that, and then they're telling people $1,500 for a package. And then they're getting another, $100,000, $200,000 off that. Because I've heard personally, the Moors who we've been investigating over the years, they're in the $100,000 that they got off people. By 2021, they're definitely in the $100,000, probably even past that. Right? That's not what this is about. Right? Noble Drew Ali was a herbalist. So he was healing people. So he charged for that. Noble Drew Ali had a newspaper. So he charged for that. Noble Drew Ali had products. So you had to pay for things. But your dues is 25 cents. You ask some people what they're paid in tithes today. And then don't forget, even though they're paying the tithe, the guys are still getting finance in the back for being registered. And the best way to learn is books. Just like the best way to DJ is records, not some laptop. That's not DJing. Right? So yeah, buy books. But buy, don't just buy black books and all that stuff, because you already know it's a fiction. You can't just go buying anything just because some guy said. But yeah, you should have some type of stack of books, a library of some kind. Something. There's too much information out there to not want it. Right. So when we talk about Noble Drew Ali, and we talk about the Moorish movement and the Moorish Science Temple and everything else, right? You have to recognize the timeline. From Drew Ali leaving the scene until now, there's been nothing but confusion. Because look at the state of our people. Ain't nothing to even debate. Look at the state of our people. Moors attribute that because these people don't have a prophet. So here's where we are. And us saying that we're Moors, the true and faithful Moors are the active ones, the ones that are doing something with this. The people who aren't doing anything with this, they don't count. They're not even up to be talked about. This idea of Moorish nationality, Moorish birthrights, is something that's going to be exercised. It's not going to be something you're going to sit on it and not put it into motion. To not put it into motion means you're serving no purpose. Just like anybody else out here who's Agent Smith. Because we know that he could jump into you at any time. And the ones who know Islam, nothing more has to be said. Because that's the code to break the spell. That we're not what these people claim. We have nationality and we have birthrights. And at the risk of whatever going down, whatever, however it goes, it's going to go. But it's about nationality and birthrights. Right? And the situation is going to be whatever it is for whoever. It's going to be what it is for them because that's their sojourn. Got nothing to do with you, man, your business. That's their thing that they're going through. For them to evolve. Right? Those are true and faithful Moors. The ones who are acting out this mad human drama. You're not just the scriptwriter and the director and the cameraman. We're also in it. So being in all these different positions, you look at this from a totally different perspective. These are the true and faithful Moors. These are the ones who it's electro and magnetic. It's electro and magnetic. These are the ones who you want to align yourself with in some type of way, whether intellectually or physically or spiritually, emotionally. The active ones are the ones that you want to, and active has many levels. So I dually told the Moors that there's work for everybody to do. Even the laziest Moor could have a job once you're doing it for the nation. Once you're doing it for the nation. There's certain people that you should be dealing with. There's certain people you should not be dealing with. Majority of the people who call me and say, yeah, I heard about the Moors and glad I found your number because I'm confused. Everybody they told me they've been listening to are some of the most dirty Moors. Like how you got their paperwork? How? Like how you end up with their paperwork? How are you telling me everybody except Great Seal? And none of them even told you about Great Seal? They never even mentioned anything? They mentioned Great Seal once? Are you telling me it's about package commerce, whoever people? That's all? No wonder you're confused. No wonder you're lost. But the point that you have to realize is that all these people know what the truth is, and they're playing games with you. And if they're playing games to the level that they're playing games, then we know for a fact that this is part of the operation. So it's not going to be a thing of you're going to get away with certain stuff, because we know that it's part of the operation. Just like we know young Pharaoh is part of the operation. Amen-Ra Squad is part of the operation. All the black leader whoever's, the older ones, were part of the operation. What's the operation? To discredit Moors and don't talk about nationality. Because we know all these people's master teacher is either Bobby Hemmett, who his master teacher is C. Freeman L. Anybody who stands under Dr. Ben, anybody, which is pretty much everybody, because everyone rates him. This is the lineup of people. Don't get it messed up. The active ones are the ones, because they're living it. Not just some talking about stuff. It's being lived. It's being lived. And the message is clear for those who have their mind open to see. We want to go through some of these. Because since people aren't going to play themselves talking, we're going to play their captions, since they want to play games. Now remember, we're talking about the operation. That there's a again, when you look at the timeline, there's a time when these things happen. Right? Certain individuals either completely selling out, talking from some different thing that has nothing to do with anything. I don't know if it's a 5-year cycle or a 8 years or whatever, but I know in the past, because we're 2010 as far as the online realm. So 2010 to 2021, I'm looking at maybe 3-4 years. There's shifts, right? Because we've been on the same stream, so we haven't diverted. But we're seeing all these people around us that were around during the inception of us or whatever. We're studying all the same info. And then diverting. Off the stream. Talking about some next stuff. But you notice that what they're really about is just to cause confusion. to have the people who are coming in not know their way. Right? We're at the end of the gauntlet, chilling. And then is the path, you just follow the path, you get through the gauntlet. Because again, there's a pattern. When Moore had to go through the martial arts movie, 18 bronze men or whatever, and have to pass all the tests. It's a pattern. Once you know the pattern, you're going to get through the... Now, Moors have to know that it's orchestrated. It's a cycle. It's presenting itself to let you know. Like Moore say, let them talk. Let them talk, and they play themselves. Don't block them and all that stuff. Let them talk. The European man called Moors niggers. Not blacks or Negroes, but niggers. And what did the rise of the Moors' Grand Sheikh Jamhal do? Laughed about it. Why? Why? Because Europeans saying nigger to niggers is funny. Why you think Marcus went to meet with the clan and El Hajj went to meet with the clan? Noble Drew Ali went to the south and said, you guys think that the clan's going to be doing something when they're going to be my procession for wherever I have to go? What are you talking about? They're going to be my procession. The clan's going to be my procession when I go to the south, said Noble Drew Ali. And Garvey and El Hajj and all of them met with the clan. And it wasn't no they hated them, lynched them on the tree or whatever. How come? How come those guys didn't get lynched on the tree, but those other guys got lynched on the tree by the same people wearing the stuff and all that? How come they could have a conversation? Or so that's all their arch enemies and all this stuff, the white man and all that. I thought that's what was going on. So Fred Hampton met with the clan. So why is it being presented to you as if there aren't niggers? Because some of the idiotic nincompoop things that I see people who look like me doing, they're niggers. They're not, I'm not in their realm. They've been like that since the beginning of their existence. I'm not them. And you would never classify me as that stuff. And if they accept that and they call themselves nigger and all that stuff, then guess you're a nigger. We're going to do like all the other nationalities. Oh, you're black? All right, I guess you're going to be black then. Come here, let me do them nails. And talk shit about you in a different language. The European knows that we're Moors. How does the European know? Because Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, when the Europeans came here and they were looking for some people to get some work done, the Europeans went to a Moor, an old sheik, and said, hey, we need some people or whatever do some stuff. And the sheik said, see those niggas over there sitting around doing nothing? Not active, not helping build this nation? Take them. Because they're not serving us any purpose right now. But they're just sitting there doing nothing. That's why Jwali said he's fining Moors. You have to pay fines if you're standing around at the temple. Imagine you getting fined for standing around at the temple. That's how serious it was. If you weren't an active Moor, you were fined, because active has many levels. Because there's so much work for us to do that you can't say there ain't no work. There might be any work in the democracy, but in the Moroccan Empire, there's work. Go get that European education or whatever like that and come help us do some of this work. You don't want to do it? Fine. Send your children there. Let them get the good European education. Let's use them at 6 and all that stuff. I know that they're gifted. Right? This is not some grand chic rise of the Moors BS. That was a European and these were Moors. And they were having their own personal conversation. Has nothing to do with them, even if it's recorded and it's put out there. It has nothing to do with them. It's conversation between two people. How about mind your business, go study? Instead of causing confusion, making it sound as if the European in the video is some Klansman or something like that. He's active just like Moors, trying to save his people. He's doing the same thing that Moors should be doing. Saving their people. And then a Moor and a European's looking at niggers like, these niggers or whatever. And then you're talking crazy? Like a European's doing something? European did nothing wrong. Yeah, they are niggers. Yeah, they are. And we vouch for it and we back it because we're Moors. People say that they're black. They're black. That has nothing to do with me. Me and them are friends and all that stuff like that. Only way is if they give honor to Moors. Talk about us, ask questions or something like that. Something. 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 This European is doing more than the same Moor that's talking. This European, who is supposed to be a cracker and all that stuff, white man, the devil or whatever like that, he's doing more for his people than people talking about Moors are doing for their people Moors. Peace, Moor.
Peace.
The real Cujo in the building.
Yo, I just want to talk about what Will said, right? Because clearly Rami's fishing just to cause confusion. We were talking about politics and how Will said out of his own mouth how Europeans placate like they care about so-called black people. And he was making an analogy of, all they would have to do is, go out front, let the European think that they're playing puppet master over that person, and show their quote unquote token nigger, which is exactly what they do, and then slap on the fez and prove that you're not their token nigger. Mm-hmm. Literally, and literally, Will multiple times has referred to himself as an Anthropopithecus troglodyte nigger multiple times on video, multiple times. So he knows who the niggers are. You know what I mean? And him speaking like that was to trigger people to get them to listen. Like, oh, that's exactly what these Europeans do. They'll have their little black person that goes to the Prince Hall Lodge, run for whatever position, and then the European will show their token nigger, and then all the blacks will say, oh, yeah, we finally made it. Meanwhile, the nigger is doing house nigger shit that's going to benefit Europeans. Just like Kamala Harris, she said, I'm not going to do anything that just benefits black people.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the token nigger right
Exactly.
there. You know what I mean? And Will literally says, you're not black, you're Moors.
Yeah.
And he's European.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So literally, I just want to hop on to say that, like, if people were listening to the video, then there would be no problem. But
Right.
people like Rami need to create a problem to be relevant because he's actually
Clif
not
Soulo.
doing anything.
Clif Soulo.
Oh, yeah, Clif Soulo. FBI agent, special agent
yeah.
Clif Soulo.
Yeah. That
Bay
Rami
exam
stuff
or L
was
exam.
an alias.
What you say?
No, I said that Rami stuff was an alias. That's not what it was.
Oh, now we're dealing with the real him?
Yeah.
Literally, Will has been out here. I mean, he's been at the State House confronting so-called senators and representatives and even the governor multiple times, asking them, like, what are you going to do about the 25 children that go missing a day under DCYF custody? And my experience with DCYF so far has been most of the targets of DCYF are so-called black and so-called Hispanic people. And Will's standing up for them. He's European. What has Rami done for children? Because remember, the prophet said, I'm here for the children and yet unborn. And the DCYF, the Child Protective Services, the Department of Youth and Children and all that stuff, they're destroying families.
Yeah.
They're taking children in the yet unborn and separating them from their parents and their grandparents.
Yeah.
How come Rami didn't do a video on that? Because Will, you can watch Will's videos, and almost every single video he's on, he'll mention that. And he'll mention how the person that was in charge of DCYF admitted out of her own mouth that 25 children go missing a day, and some of them don't return. And he'll talk about how, some of the workers at DCYF custody would travel around the city pimping out the children. How come Rami's not talking about that?
Oh, let me ask you this one. Jamhal didn't correct his European friend. Jamhal didn't tell him, don't call Moors niggers. Jamhal just laughed, smiled, and nodded his head in agreement. You have any response to that?
Yeah. Will wasn't talking about Moors. He said, Europeans placate and act like they care about and he even said so-called black problems. He even did the quote, the air quotes.
Yeah.
So obviously he knows, right? Obviously he's been in my house, so he knows. He did the air quote saying that Europeans pretend to care, and I'm agreeing with him, like, because they do. And then they'll show out their token nigger, which is exactly what they do.
Yeah.
And he was saying, don't be that. Put on your fez and show them who you really are. So what was really the issue?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say Moors are niggers. He didn't say blacks are niggers. He said Europeans they placate, they act like they care about our problems, and they parade around their token niggers. That's exactly what they do. Everybody knows that. So yeah, I'm gonna smile and laugh and agree because that's exactly what it is. And anyone that doesn't see that is just as lost as the niggers.
Right. So the next caption was Jamal's actions are unacceptable. And to make matters worse, individuals like Kudro Adwo are co-signing and promoting Jamal and Rise of the Moors actions as if they are legitimate. They are not.
All right, so multiple things, right?
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
I've done community giveaways, right? So how is that? Would you say my actions are what?
Unacceptable.
So how's that unacceptable, right? I've done giveaways, so how is that unacceptable?
Yeah, so have we.
Been in court with Moors, so how is that unacceptable?
Yep,
I've done
same here.
Giveaway to the community on the Prophet Noble Drew birthday, where most people just do a class, which we do classes all the time. So how about you celebrate the Prophet's birthday in a different way?
Yeah.
Same here. Been to like dangerous areas, to teach our people the science. What's wrong with that? Helped women fight for their children. What's wrong with that?
Yep.
Have had to hide women and children in my basement from Europeans trying to steal their children. What's wrong with that?
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. Like what actions are unacceptable. And also, he always talks about the Supreme Grand Council when the Prophet gave the power of the Supreme Grand Council to talk about who has the only authority to say what is and what is not injurious to the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? So by him saying what I'm doing is injurious to the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America, He's usurping the power that the Prophet gave the Supreme Grand Council that he keeps talking about. So now you're committing treason against the Prophet because he didn't give you the authority to do that. Secondly, right, I'm not part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't advocate for the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Say that again. Say that again.
I'm not part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I went to
No,
Chicago.
is that because you don't honor Noble Drew Ali, or you don't respect Noble Drew Ali, or whatever, that you're not part of the Moorish Science Temple?
So Rami's a clown because he'll say I never talk about the Supreme Grand Council, but in my first book, the first, I think, like 5 pages are about exactly that: the Supreme Grand Council and their job and the importance of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The first like few pages of my first book ever is about Noble Drew Ali, the Supreme Grand Council, and how the Moorish Science Temple of America is important to our people. So knowing that when I first woke up and all I had as a source to study was rvbaypublications.com and Taj Street Bay, I was like, okay, where's the temple out here? Because I wanted to go. There wasn't one. So a Grand Sheikhess, right, from, I think it was Temple 90 or something like that, in Los Angeles, messaged me saying that she sees my work, she appreciates it, and she wants to work with me somehow. She wanted to sell my book, so she ordered 1 copy to see if she liked it, so that way she can sell my book there. Then she invited me to the Moorish Science Temple of America's convention, which is why I went to Chicago. And I spoke to you about it, and I spoke to you about the specific people I was going to meet, and you said, "Don't, they're dirty," right? But you know, man knows not by being told, and I needed to see for myself. So I went there, and because I thought it was just a convention, so I went there in a suit. When I got there, they gave me the address. I wasn't sure that it was the address because it looked like a corner store, and there was nothing on the building at all that would indicate that this is a Moorish Science Temple of America at all. It was just looked like a building, and it had the bodega gates that pulled down, and there was like 1 circle 7 in the corner of the window, and you had to be looking for it to see that it was there. So I'm texting the people like, "Hey, I'm outside. Is this a place?" They open up the burglar bars, the burglar gate, like 3/4 of the it was like a quarter of the way open. So we had to duck to get in. It was myself, Juju, and Leonidas. And we go in there, and there's like sage just burning, like you could barely see. You can hear people on the opposite side of the wall yelling, right? So then they say it's 120 notes to join the adept chamber. So I didn't know that they were doing adept chamber stuff. So I'm like, okay, we were just going with the flow because I wanted to see how it was going to play out. And it was very unorganized, but it was they tried to make it seem like it was organized chaos, but it was just unorganized. It was people running around, you know what I mean? It was weird. So they take me to the back, and I'm wearing a suit at the time, and they separated my Juju and Leonidas. They were together, and I was going towards the back because apparently I was going to the adept chamber, and I had no idea. So I get back there. They inspect under my fez to make sure, I guess, I didn't have any weapons. I was like, yeah, I'll show you what's under it, but I'm not taking it off. And then there was a fat dude with locks, and he said, "We know who you are." Meanwhile, I don't know who any of these people are, which is wrong, because all Moors should know who. If there's any Moors claiming to be Temple Number 1, all Moors should know about them. If there's Moors claiming to be the Supreme Grand Council, all Moors should know about them. Yeah. Everyone should know about them. I should know about them. They shouldn't know about me. But anyway, because, you know, I'm not ego tripping. I'm like, okay, you know me because I'm putting in work. Great. You should want me on your team because I'm putting in work. And he said, "You associate with Taj Street Bay. I'm not taking you to the adept chamber." So they literally took me out the room.
Whoa.
And then
that was personal.
And then we ended up sitting down with all of them, and they were just talking bullshit. Like they were trying to, like, I don't know what they were trying to do, but I have a strong mind, so you ain't really about to convince me of anything like I'm some dummy. Right. So long story short, I'm gonna say his name, Canoe Bay, because I got no problems. He came out. He was claiming to be the Supreme Grand Sheik, and he was talking with a bunch of, you know, the twins, and I think Kenneth L was there. I think I remember seeing him. And Sheikess, what's her name? I can't remember. From Temple 90 or 80. She got her eyes a little messed up. Can't remember her name, but she was there as well. And the twins. So they came out, they was talking to us, and I remember very specifically that Canoe Bay, also known as Tyrone Bay, stated that he was the Supreme Grand Sheik, which is the title that the Prophet had when he was when he created the Supreme Grand Council. And he specifically stated that when Moors over there are arguing with Moors over there, he doesn't get involved because he's on the divine mission of the prophet or whatever. Me knowing the job of the Supreme Grand Council, I know what he just told me is that he's not doing his goddamn job. Because you can't tell me that you're the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Supreme Grand Council, and that council's damn near only job is to litigate issues between Moors to ensure that they're teaching the proper teachings of the prophet, to make sure that there's no confusion, and you're going to sit there and tell me you don't get involved because you're focused on the mission that the prophet gave you?
Yeah, because it's inherited. It's inherited that once you get in those seats, you're going to be passive.
Yeah.
Can you be? That more right there is when we talk about 08, when we came in, like, he was one of the Moors. Like, he was one of the Moors. Like, that was the Moor that you're going to sit with for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And the bill is going to be absolutely mind-blowing.
He
But
talks
they
real
took-
good. I can say that.
Yeah. And
But
it's
I
not.
think he learned that in jail, though. Like, how to talk.
Say again?
I think he learned that in jail, like how to talk to people.
Yeah. But the seat itself,
Yeah.
the seat itself is already established what you're gonna do if you take that seat. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it's been running for the past how much every year. So you're not jumping in to go do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is why, again, with stuff like where you're at, where we're at, the Moors near Cali, taking it upon themselves to handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? RV Bay, Khalifa Media. How is there no Moorish publishing house or whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How is there not a building where Moors could go? That's ours, that deals with that.
And
You know what I mean?
there's Moors in that circle that know the corruption, but they're still in the circle. For
Yeah,
what?
that's
What are you
the
getting out of it?
problem. That's the problem.
But they get the title of, well, I'm the Supreme Grand. If I recognize if I recognize this person, then they're gonna recognize me and give me a title. Fuck that. And that's what they all are doing. I've seen it for myself. No one's telling me nothing. Well, you told me, but I've seen it for myself. And there is a level of fear amongst those Moors under him in relationship to him. Like, some of those Moors fear him. You know what I mean? Like deathly are afraid of him. And I don't know if it's because he's been to jail. I don't know what his prior charges were, but I remember him saying specifically that he had to sit and wait to get in that position. And to me, that don't sound right. He's I can't remember exactly what he said because it was a few years ago, but he basically said he had to do what he had to do to get in that position. That don't sound right to me. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then I went to Unity Hall, and these Moors are claiming to be Temple Number 1. They let the prophets build. First of all, there's a historical. It's listed as a historical building, but Noble Drew Ali's name's not even fucking on it. And then there's pictures of these people standing there like, oh yeah, we honor the fucking prophet. You honor the prophet. You claim to be Temple Number 1. You claim to be the Supreme Grand whatever, but you let the prophet's building turn into European housing. You let the city listed down as a historical place, but it's listed as a black like culture club and a Jewish whatever. No names of the prophet whatsoever.
Yeah, nothing.
And then when there was two Asiatics walking by, and we asked them, you know about this building? And he said, yeah, we know a little bit about it, and we know that, you know, around 1930s, which, you know, right after the prophet died, you know, the Moors were shooting at each other and shooting at the police.
Yeah.
Like they were at war with the dirty Moors. Like, it wasn't just the dirty Moors came in and sat down. Like, no, people were dying.
Yeah.
And people think like Moor science is just hominis dominus and you get to be the guy. Like, people, you know, Noble Drew Ali put Sultan Abdul Aziz in that book for a reason. He took Mecca back. He didn't
Yeah.
say, oh yeah, you know, I'm Abdul Aziz, I'm Abdul Aziz ibn Saud, so now call me Saudi Arabia. And nah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
said, hey,
Nah.
we're taking Mecca back. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And the Prophet
I
said,
made
Mecca's
Chicago
gonna
Mecca.
fall. Go ahead.
I made Chicago Mecca.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I don't know. There's just a lot, and I've been
There's a
holding,
lot.
and I haven't been
There's a
saying a
lot.
lot for a long time, and
There's a lot. And what it takes is doing what people aren't doing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's where it's at. People who haven't done ever, then they can't talk.
facts.
You know what I mean? They can't
People like
talk.
Rami can't talk.
Prove it. Yeah,
I
prove
know
it.
I know Rami's been like around on videos, but I mean, you know, I haven't.
No, like around in real life.
No, that's what I'm
You know
saying.
what I mean?
I'm saying
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
him on videos, but
Around
I
in
haven't
real
seen
life.
him in front of no people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's easy to sit at home on a screen, comfortable, and say whatever it is you want. It's
Yeah.
difficult to be in a classroom with people, and then they raise their hand, and then they ask you a question, and you have an obligation to answer that person's question in a way that they can comprehend it, and then have to deal with that with multiple people. I've had people from Vietnam come to my class and ask me questions like internationally. They know that they're
Yeah.
Moors, they know that they're African. How do they fit in? And you know, what do you think about A, B, C, D, and E? I've had conversations with judges from Liberia that have came to my class, and we went to the law library to talk about law and how it affects our people here. And they have
Yeah.
my number, and they took my book back to so-called Africa. Like this is real life. I've helped Africans get their land back in Africa with the allodial title that I learned from Taj Tariq Bey, and they got the Europeans afraid of that document over there, and this is years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's real work.
Yeah.
Rami can't say he got no Vietnamese people walking up to him saying they know that they're Moors. Come on, they know they're Asiatic. Literally, Vietnamese people said they've studied Noble Drew Ali. I'm holding back my shock. Like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to show you I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my composure, but hey, I'm fucking shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That
they've
was
been
like I
studying the
went
science
to
longer than me.
yeah. I went to my computer man one time, and while he was turning on the computer, he went on YouTube to go see if something looked up, and something with Noble Drew Ali came up.
Mhm.
He's like, Noble Drew Ali? You know about Noble Drew Ali? Like, what the hell do you mean? Do I know about Noble Drew Ali? Like, you know about Noble Drew Ali? What are you talking about? What do you mean, do I know? Like, how do you know about Noble Drew Ali? Oh, yeah, you know, I study history or whatever like that, and I found out about him, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's good information or whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, buddy. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I know about Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that know, man.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And
Yep.
they won't even speak to black people because they don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the Jamaicans, right? So-called Jamaicans. It's their culture that if you're sick, mom's gonna bury you in the backyard and have Earth take the shit out of you, right?
Yeah.
That's their culture. So it's so normal to them that they don't even, when they get here, they don't even think to say, "Hey, you're sick. All right, go in the dirt."
Yeah.
Like they don't even think to teach our people that because it's just known. And that's the same thing with other nationals. Like they don't even think to just go out into the streets and to the hedges and highways and start teaching about Noble Drew Ali because it's common knowledge. We're the only people that don't know.
That
Which
don't
is
know.
why the prophet said, "I came for you."
Yeah.
And then he told us,
Everybody
go
else
to the
knows
hedges
already.
and the highways and teach this shit. Not just sit behind your computer at home and run your mouth
Right.
and act like you're making points when you're really not. Like this is what Rami, FBI Special Agent Clif Soulo, he was like, "Are guns made for love?" Like you said something deep. Bro, is a fork made for love? You still eat with a fork. Are your shoes made for love? No, you still put them motherfuckers on. Like, what are you talking about? Like that's deep. Like that's, oh, you know what, brother? Guns aren't made for love. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. What are you talking about? On that note, right? What do you say about this one? True Moorish Americans do not agree or support the actions of Jamhal, rise of the Moors. We are not, do not wish to be confused with sovereign citizens or domestic terrorists.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So literally, this is crazy, right? Remember I called you, right? Told you about how Rashad got contacted by the FBI while he was in jail. He came out, told me the story out of his own mouth. And then I told you over the phone, right? I said, watch. Every time there's a FBI agent interaction with one of my Moors, a Moor gets on camera and starts talking shit about me. Remember I said that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then look at this.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one. Number two, we Juju and I had court for the same shit we've been going through, right? And that European on video, his name is Mark Benjamin. He's the prosecutor for the state. In the 9-minute video, he said, you guys aren't domestic terrorists. You guys aren't criminals. So how is it that literally my opposer, because he's on the side,
he's on the other side. Yeah, he's on the other side.
Prosecuting, he's moving forward with the case against me, and he's telling my wife and I, or my daughter present, that we're not domestic terrorists. He even said out of his own mouth that normally when they get pro se litigants, they're used to them being emotional protesters just yelling in their face. You guys are different. Yeah. And I understand your argument. I understand where you're coming from. He didn't say we were wrong. He didn't say that you're not Moors. He didn't say that you're sovereign citizens. He didn't say none of that shit. Yeah. So how is it that Rami's calling me a domestic terrorist, but the European, who's literally opposing me, is saying, no, you guys aren't domestic terrorists. You guys ain't terrorists. You guys aren't on the most wanted list. How? How is a Moor saying that, but a European who's literally against me isn't? Yeah. And then they're mad. And then, right, Rami says I'm an FBI agent, but I'm also a domestic terrorist and I'm a sovereign citizen. How? How? Unless the FBI is domestic terrorist and I'm FBI agent. Like that's the only way it makes sense. But how is it that I'm an FBI agent, but state police kicked in my door and there's a case against me?
Oh, we wanted to bring this one up too.
Oh, hold on, real fast. Also, the definition of terrorism is using violence or intimidation to achieve some type of political goal. I've never threatened anyone. I never told the Moors of Rise of the Moors or the Moors part of the militia to threaten anyone or intimidate anyone. So how by definition am I a domestic terrorist?
Right. Now the one thing I wanted to also use was he brought up the stop where they smashed the glass. Yeah. What's the status of that? What happened with that, if anything happened with it? So because he showed it to try to say, what you're doing is gonna get this to happen to you, right? So, if you follow these sovereign citizen domestic terrorists, this is what's gonna happen to your car and all this type of shit.
That's not true. Because there's also a video on my YouTube channel. His name is Tariq Bey, of him traveling with no license plates, no tags, no nothing, and cops let him go. There's also video footage of Jamhal Bey from the Bronx, of him traveling. Police let him go. There's multiple instances where Moors have been traveling and police just let him go. So he's using that to promote fear. So what happened was I was traveling, and my mom's here. She can tell you. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull up on my mom right now. Hold on, they listen to the music back here. It's Liddy.
Liddy.
Hold on, Ma. We're live on the gram. I gotta ask you questions to see if I'm lying. We're gonna play. I can't remember what it's called in rap battle, but so Ma.
Yes.
Remember when I took the plates off my car?
Yes.
Remember, it said like not for hire, had the Moorish flag and the United States flag, right? Remember when I had the license plates, they kept ticketing my car, and then I took the license plates off, and then what happened?
You stopped getting tickets.
Oh yeah, and I was driving like that for like 3-4 months, right?
Right.
Okay, that's for my mom. So I was traveling like that out here for like 3 or 4 months. Then I'm feeling myself because no one's doing nothing to me. I'm out here traveling like a Moor, I'm feeling myself. Europeans don't want to smoke with me because I've been studying rvbaypublications.com. What's up? So right, I traveled from here to Delaware to meet Taj, 5 hours there, and 5 hours back. right? So it's 5 hours there. Parked my car outside in Wilmington, Delaware, which is the hood. Right before they tore down that church that was literally right across the street. Taj couldn't show up, so Delilah Passé-Il taught that class. I was there. At the end of the class, I showed all of them. I literally took Dr. Nayela outside, showed her my car. She took a picture of the plates. When I came back a few weeks later, you know what I mean, and the picture got like a few thousand likes. So I'm feeling myself, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm honoring the teachings. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing Taj, like, you know, what you do works. And, you know, this motherfucker's out here practicing the shit that you're teaching, and we're absorbing it, and we ain't scared, right? So I'm thinking I'm doing something great, which I am. So then, you know, a few weeks later, I get pulled over because I'm going to Connecticut to see this girl, right? I was single at the time, so Juju, don't get mad. Juju already knows anyway. You know, doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. I'm 15 minutes away from this girl's house. I'm going 90 because, you know, I'm excited. I get pulled over because it was a cop car and then a truck, and it was at night. So I go past, you know, I switch over to the left lane, go past that person in the truck, and then I go back into the regular slow lane, and I slow back down. I get pulled over, and then, you know, I go live on the video, and that's what happens. Mm-hmm. They smash the window, and it looks like he grabs me aggressively, but he really doesn't. It looks like he was manhandling me, but he really wasn't. They pull handcuffs on me. They bring me to the front of the car, and I'm thinking, okay, these motherfuckers about to kill me because they put people in the back. So they're probably going to make it seem like I tried to get his gun or whatever, and then they're going to kill me. So I'm over here like, damn, oh, well, my life was good so far, I guess. I'm scared. You know, my heart is fucking beating out here because I never been arrested before. And from the movies and shit, they put motherfuckers in the back. But anyway, so he's taking me to the station. He's going 90, right? Meanwhile, I was going 90, and that's why I got pulled over. So I'm saying, hold on. What I get pulled over for? He's like, speeding. I was like, well, you're going 90 right now, so he's mad. Then I start talking to him. I said, you know, so how long you been a cop? He says, for X amount of years. I said, you know, what'd you do before that? And he said he was in the military or whatever he said. I said, oh, wow, I just got out the military too. It's the same amount of time.
Hold on a second. Are you saying right now, because it might have went over people's head or whatever.
Yeah.
How come you're having this conversation in the front seat with the highwayman?
You said why?
You're in the front.
Yeah, I'm in the front seat.
You're not in the back with no cuffs and all that stuff.
No, I did have cuffs, but I was in the front. Yeah. So I'm talking to this guy. You know, I'm basically poking fun at him because he's speeding, and I got pulled over for speeding. Then I ask him, you know, how long he's been there, and I relate to him because I was in the military. Then I ask him his birthday. Same birthday as my mom. Then he gets mad, right? Because I'm relating to him on personal levels.
Yeah.
Then he just stops talking. You know what I mean? Because I'm a human, bro, just like you. You got the same birthday as my mom. I was in the military. We did the same amount of time. Like, bro, I'm you right now. So he just shuts up. So then we get to the police station in Connecticut, and an Italian guy walks in, and I forgot I can't remember how it played out, but I asked him what his nationality was, and he said Italian, and I said, oh, so you know who the Moors are, huh? He said, yeah, and that was it. So they kept asking me to fingerprint and take pictures, and I kept refusing. And at the time, the charges that they had racked up was like $10,000 or some crazy shit like that. And they said, you know, can you call your parents to have them pay it? And I looked them dead in the eyes. I said, no one's paying that. So they put me in the cell, right? They put me in the cell for about 5 hours. And when they smashed the window, there was glass seeping into my arm. And there was a sign right outside my cell in Spanish that said, if you need medical attention, the shift supervisor is responsible for that. So I'm yelling, hey, there's glass seeping into my arm. And I already know if glass gets into your blood, that shit's going to go to your heart, go to your brain, and you're going to fucking die. So I'm sitting in that cell just taking glass out of my arm. And then after a while, they send in the medic. I have to sign something. I put TDC. They check my arm to make sure I'm good. And then the shift supervisor walks in and says, okay, since you've been cooperating, meaning I've been sitting in a fucking cell for hours, you know, we're going to lower the bail to $500. Well, what the fuck happened to $10,000, right? So,
10,500?
Yeah. So so they processed me. They keep saying, you know, I can't remember what day it was, but they gave me the option. Either sit here until Monday and see the judge, or get fingerprinted and take pictures, and we'll release you right now. So I remember Taj saying they'll give you a way out. So I'm thinking, okay, this is my way out. So I know TDC, and then they let me out. They booked me as Jamhal Tulib Abdullah Bey because that's the only ID I had on me. Then, you know, I get released at like 2 a.m., some crazy thing like that. Some guy I met one time travels from here 2 hours away to pick me up and brings me back. I offered to give him money. He rejected it. My friend took me to some acupuncture thing because my spirit, I was fucked up from that experience because I'm like, you know, I believed in the system. I served in the military. I literally did nothing wrong, and they treated me like a criminal. So, you know, my spirit's all fucked up, and it's coming back into my body because when I was in the cell, I had to send it somewhere else. So, you know, I get the acupuncture. I come back, and I'm crying in my mom's basement because I lived there at the time, and I'm just trying to process information. But then, you know, I get to writing documents. So, since they told the car, I wrote the bank and the dealership. The chief of police of Connecticut has the property that we're in a contract with. So I'm not paying them. So bill them. Then I write a document to the court saying that I'm invoking the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. You have no jurisdiction over me. Blase, 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 and that was it. They never spoke back to me since. Never.
So
I stopped making the payments on the car because I don't have the property. It was stolen, so I'm not obligated to make those payments. The bank never said, "Hey, we're trying to get this money for nothing." It was over. You know what I mean? Because they just try to put fear into people. Well, too bad you fucking trained me to be fearless, stupid.
And all of that, you're right. We will that you enjoyed the story, but all of that was to just put it on the record that certain people talking and using certain things without putting it in proper context are probably working for the other side.
Yeah.
And their job is to confuse you.
Yep.
Would you think that after you watch this video of the window getting busted open or whatever, that he's in the front seat and all this? Like, he just got the window busted, but he's in the front seat.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the station, and people are telling him they know who the Moors are and all that.
Yeah.
And then he's getting let out from 10,000 to 500.
And there was no bail. They just let me out. No one paid anything.
10,000 to 500.
And then from 500 to 0.
And 500 to 0.
And then in the video, I asked him something. I said, are you a law enforcement officer or something like that? And the guy said no. In the video, the same video that Rami took a clip from of them smashing my window, in the same video, they admitted they're not even law enforcement. How come you didn't clip that?
Yeah.
And the arresting officer, by the way, her name is Trisha McCarchio. Me and my mom have a joke that she's still borrowing my car. She didn't give it back yet. Because that's what you do, you know, because most people, they attach to physical possessions, you know, and, you know, be in the world, but not of the world. So if most people's car gets stolen, they think their life is over, you know, and, you know, I was like, damn, they took my car, and I had to realize it's not my car.
Yeah.
It's not. That's the truth. It's not my car. That's what I learned from rvbaypublications.com. That's what I learned from Taj Tariq Bey. So I need to apply what I learned and realize I can't attach to that piece of property because they took it from me to affect me. Like you take a toy away from a child to affect them. I'm not no goddamn child. So after that, I'm like, oh, I'm straight, bro. I haven't had a car for years. I'm gonna hop on a bus like I used to.
Right.
What's the big deal?
It's a big deal for some.
I know, and that's why the system works, because they'll give you something and then they can take it away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why the new car I have now, I bought it from the owner, got the title from the owner. They can't take that away from me. I'm not making no payments on that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not a 2013 Rogue at the time, which at the time it was cool to have. You know, it was a pretty decent car. But if it gets my family A to B, I can get groceries and go home. That's all I need.
That's all you need right now.
You know what I mean?
Straight.
I'm not flexing on nobody. And even when I didn't have my car, I think I'm driving around the city trying to get women or whatever. That wasn't even happening like that. They don't care.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the reasons why they get us to attach to these things, it's not even real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm over here just giving my boys rides. Like, that's whack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
know, another thing too, that needs to be clarified again.
Yeah.
I know you did it already, but just to clarify it again. The idea that because you have and carry arms, that you're inciting some type of kill police or take over the White House or something crazy like that.
No, I never said that. I've never said that ever, not once ever. Never advocated for it. I haven't written about it. Nothing. And it just blows my mind how when I was in the Marines, I wasn't called a terrorist then, and I had guns. You know what I mean? I was literally on someone else's homeland, oppressing them, which is what the military does. You know what I mean? There used to be Japanese people every Monday in front of the base speaking in Japanese, telling us to go home because the Ospreys that we had would leak fuel and fuck up their farmland. But Rami never called me a terrorist then. You know what I mean? How is it that I can, quote unquote, defend the Constitution, but I can't enforce it? You know what I mean? Right. It doesn't make sense. You know, you don't see us outside pointing arms at police. You don't see none of that. You don't see us pointing arms at the FBI. You don't see us pointing arms at any people in office. None of that, because that's not what this is about. It's about defending ourselves. You know what I mean? If it's as above, so below, as within, so without, the same way our immune system defends our bodies against foreign entities, we should defend our physical bodies against people trying to attack us, people trying to harm us. That's self-preservation. That's a law of nature, and it even says that in the Quran. It literally says that, you know, we fell from the higher plane to, I think, the survival of the fittest or whatever, which is survival. Like we have to defend this physical thing we call the flesh. It even says in the Quran, if your life is of value to others, it's your duty to protect it. So how dare I think that I'm going to try to help people and teach them, and then not protect myself?
Right.
When people have told me that I've helped them change their lives in some way or another, which would mean my life is of value to others.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like the only way that there's only a few ways that you would think I'm advocating for some type of violence is: one, you're an agent, or two, you're just not mentally strong enough to hear the message or actually see how we're conducting ourselves. Because most people don't see the cops and say, "Oh, well, you're advocating for violence," and they have a gun every day. You know, the military shows their arms every day. They drop 22 billion bombs a day in foreign countries, but Rami don't have nothing to say about that. I've never dropped a bomb on anybody. So it's literally like I think it's a personal attack against me, and it could be for multiple reasons. It could be jealousy. It could be he's an agent. It could be multiple reasons. It could be because his wife left him, and you know, problem with the children, because that's, you know, and that's a bad situation, and I'm not trying to make fun of him for it, but like, you know, reflect on yourself. You know what I mean? Like, don't just arbitrarily attack people in the name of being quote unquote righteous when you know nothing about me. You haven't tried to speak to me or nothing like that. It's just you're just poking to be relevant at this point.
Yeah.
It's sad because, you know, the prophet said they're jealous because of the fame and nobility, but the fame and nobility doesn't really do anything. The fame and nobility hasn't stopped me from being oppressed. It's assistance to get me bailed out, you know, that more that appreciate me, but we're still oppressed. All of us are still oppressed. So what is it that you really want? You want people to like you? Okay. The same people that liked me, there's been people that have called me the prophet out here. And, you know, I'm like, nah, that's not me. I'm Felicia's son. I'm Jamhal. But, you know, they call me that, and I was, okay, I'll accept that. That's fine. And then a few months later, they threatened to kill me. So what's the likes? So the likes don't mean nothing. Same thing with Jadari. Remember, literally, Jadari hopped on the YouTube video, was like, yeah, brother Jamhal, we like you, but it's hard to get in contact with you. But when I call Cujo, you know, he answers, you know, we love you, brother Jamhal. And then literally 24 hours later, he said, fuck Jamhal. So, like, what do you want out of this? I want for my mom and my sisters and my nephews and my daughter and my grandmother not to be oppressed. That's what I'm in it for.
Yeah.
Fuck the likes. They don't mean nothing. They haven't changed nothing.
Straight. They never do.
They don't. You know what I mean? And even the Moors claiming that they love me. Okay, cool. I love you too. But are you going to stand next to me? No. Proof of that is Europeans kicked down my door. And you can ask Leonidas. I spoke to Leonidas a few weeks before that happened, because he was saying, you know, why are you showing the guns? Can we do this more peacefully? I said, more peaceful? How am I not peaceful? You know, and then I literally spoke to him. I said, okay, if the Europeans come to my doors, who's going to be there for me? Nobody. So
somebody in the chat said you and Rami should have a one-on-one.
He doesn't want a one-on-one. He's blocked. He's blocked me. He's blocked any more that has tried to reach out to him to establish some type of communication. He doesn't want to talk to me. That's not what he's in it for. That's not what he's in it for.
And we know that you're transparent. You reach out to people if it's issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's also too in line with majority of the Moors who did some type of service.
Yeah.
That they're on that punctual freaking,
let's address it
to the point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
We're not gonna be beating around any bushes about with this stuff.
Literally, this reminds me of a situation that happened in high school. There was another dude named Jamhal. It was spelled different. It was Jamhal, really what it was. And someone told me, hey, so-and-so don't like you. And he wants to fight you after school. I said, oh, for real? Where's he at? So I could talk to him, right? Long story short, it was the other Jamhal. So if I was just a stupid person that was basing, my actions off emotions, I would have been like, oh, he don't like me? Well, fuck him. And then it would have been a big deal. Hold on, my nephew's out here. What's up? Go home. Let's set him out. Oh, you want me to pick you up? You're heavy. You know what I mean? So if just be a man. Just talk. You could talk situations out. It don't have to be it don't have to be a battle on the gram. Only people that want attention do that. You know what I'm saying? And I've dated like some women that they'll call me 15 times if I don't answer. Like that's the type of female shit I don't like, and that's what Rami's doing. Yeah. So just talk to me. What are you emotional for? Why are you gonna say something about me and then block me? Yeah,
and something crazy too. Not even like say, you know what I mean? Something silly. You know what I mean? Say some damaging stuff.
Yeah, that's what he's saying is dangerous.
Yo, it's not even a joke, yo.
What he's saying is very dangerous. Because the FBI is already investigating me. So if they have Moors pushing this agenda that I'm dangerous and I'm a terrorist, it's going to make it easier for them to arrest me, eliminate me, murder me, whatever it is that they're trying to do. You know what I mean? Even when they spoke to Rashad, asking if I kicked him out of Pawtucket, when it was the cops that arrested him in Massachusetts, a whole different state. An hour away. Like, what do you mean did I kick him out? But that's seed that they try to plant a seed of animosity towards me, like my fault he's in there. Meanwhile, they're the one charging him, not me. Meanwhile, when he calls me, he's calling me for legal arguments.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what they do. So Rami is just he's watering that seed of resentment. You know what I mean? And there's another more. I'm not gonna say his name, but he said that he used to listen to Rami, and then he heard him say stuff about me, and he was on Rami's side for a little bit, but then he investigated me and seen that I have proof of claim and realized, oh, Rami's on that bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? But Rami knows that most people aren't going to do research and investigate who I am and really see what I'm about. You know what I mean? He knows that, and that's just what it is. Our people love drama. Like when there's some type of Instagram crap, when we're doing our vanguard job and we're shutting stupid, dirty Moors up, all the Moors are involved. But when we're just posting regular knowledge, 5 likes, 20 likes. Yeah. So let it be some drama, 1,000 likes, 4,000 likes, videos for days, everyone's on it. Everybody likes drama. Yeah. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? We like action. We don't like being active, we just like action. You know what I mean? So Rami knows that. Rami knows where there's confusion, there's profit. He knows that. He's trying to sell his CDs.
He's communications major. He definitely knows that.
Oh yeah. Clif's soul is low, knows what's up.
He knows what's up.
That's probably why his girl left, because he's on that bullshit.
Crazy. Just saw him to all the Moors. How the baby's getting in there. I know you're gonna go shake your leg over there at the party. get some ribs.
Nah, vegan. We are talking about our vegan hot dogs, our vegan burgers, some water.
Get some ham hock.
Nah. I remember one time, right? I went to the corner store up the street, and this is before I was vegan. I just stopped eating I stopped eating pork and I started eating red meat. So I was eating chicken, and I was with my cousin. He still ate pork, so we ordered like a few pastelitos for like $1 because these Spanish people be hooking us up. and they mix up our bags, right? So I took a bite of this pastelito and immediately spit it out. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's how nasty pork is. Like, didn't even, you know, when you just bite it, and you don't take another bite, it's just, as soon as it hit my tongue, it just tastes death. And then, you know, my cousin was like, yeah, I'll eat the rest. I'm like, bro, all right, whatever, give me the chicken ones. So I don't fuck with none of that pork shit. Can't stand the smell, none of it. Nope, don't like it.
Straight.
Don't even joke about that. That shit is it's nasty, like literally fucking disgusting. Yeah, but yeah, I just hopped on just to, I don't know, try to appeal to people's thinking mind and not their emotions.
Yeah, straight up. Common
And, you know,
sense over
try to help
emotions.
clear Will's name, because Will's been an activist out here for 15 years.
Yeah,
He's been around longer than me doing this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's known out here for confronting corrupt politicians. He's known out here for setting up stings for people trying to fuck with little boys and girls, and he's messaging, acting like he's a little boy or girl, and then he meets up with them and puts them on camera. That's what Will does.
Yeah, for real.
Exposes pedophiles. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Found one of these politicians' Pornhub account with children porn all over it.
Yeah, how come Rami has no pedophile exposure videos on his stuff? Talking crazy about Moors.
Just nothing.
Talk about a pedophile.
Just him neglecting his son and then using his son as a prop.
Which is crazy too. Like the levels that people go.
Yeah, we gotta start loving ourselves, man. Because if we love ourselves, we don't need this. I have to do a video on these few people consistently to stay relevant. Like, just do your trash music, bro, and whoever rocks with it, rocks with it.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
He wanted to get those Wix locks because his locks look like they falling out.
Yeah, more. Right there. But give thanks.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate the clarity. Appreciate the clarity.
Yeah. All right, Morris. Peace. I'm hop off. Love you.
Islam,
love you, Morris.
Yo, love you too. Peace. Islam to all the boys there, and honors to moms.
Oh yeah, you already know. Mom's with the shits. Mom got a turban on right now. All right, peace.
Peace, Warren. Right. So there you have it. From the horse's mouth. From the squirrel's mouth. Don't fall for it. He's got your emotions that are playing that freaking salsa music and stuff, playing your emotions. Have you dancing? Don't dance. Don't dance. Moors are not sovereign citizens. Moorish Americans are not domestic terrorists. And if Jamhal Bay and all the Moors near Rhode Island are Moorish Americans, then that means they're not those stuff either. And somebody's a op. Has to be a op. I know it's a lot. You know what I mean? It can't be him and all that stuff. Yep, it's him. He's a op. Get over it. Get over it and move on. We already checked the last video that had 27 thumbs down and 30 thumbs up or something. So it's going there. That was the same thing that was happening with Tarka, why he had to go start a new channel and all that stuff, because you're not going to play your little slander campaign op stuff and get away with it. You're not. And anybody who's talking all that, I saw your question about autochthonous and all that. Just remember, autochthonous one said Ahanu El. So if autochthonous one could declare his nationality, no different than Khalid and all the other people who are your guys, and if your guys could declare their nationality, if the number one scholar, I would say number one, in the Aboriginal indigenous realm, autochthonous one, I'll say he's number one. If he could say Ahanu El, that's my autogenous name now. What's he telling you? What's he telling you to your face? What's he telling you to your face? So if he's telling you that, to your face, Ahanu El, and you're claiming autogenous, and then all these other people are claiming autogenous, but they're not claiming that they're El Bay, Day, Al, or Ali, they're probably off. More than likely. Their job is to confuse. And you're going to go play around for a year or two, and then in a year or two, realize that you just wasted a year or two. You could have been studying your nationality and birthrights. But you don't want to hear what Moors are saying, because some clown told you that Moors, get their windows busted open, and he's, I don't want nothing to do with this. And then you run the other direction for 2 years, and now you have to come back. 2 years you just ran that direction. You know how far that is? If you ran for 2 years in one direction and then realized, oh, I forgot my keys. I forgot my mask. I gotta go back. I gotta go back 2 years running to get my mask. You're not gonna be a happy camper. You're gonna be mad. Big mad. You should be big mad. Mask sitting right there. You even hung it on the doorknob so you won't forget it. Still forgot it. And how come he had not one word to say about these Europeans who smashed the window? But he's going to talk crazy about the European who's exposing pedophiles. So hold on, let's get this right. Okay, so the police who are violating their oath of ethics, violating the Constitution, don't get anything talked about them. Nothing. No words whatsoever. But the European who's exposing pedophiles and exposing child care services and exposing anything else that's corrupt, he's the one someone's going to make videos about and say that he called somebody nigger, so that means he's KKK. You understand when things aren't, when you don't know the narrative, how you can end up played? And the only way you don't know the narrative is because you're not studying. And these people know that you're not studying if they're going to send somebody like this to be the agent. They know you're dumb. If this guy is the agent, they have Jason Bourne they could have sent. They had James Bond they could have sent. They had all types of agents they could have sent. They could have sent MacGyver, they could have sent Magnum PI, whoever. They didn't send them. They sent Clif Soulo. They could have sent Agent Smith. They didn't even send Agent Smith. They didn't even send Destro or somebody. They sent Clif Soulo. That shows how dumb you are. Because we already had our little, you know what I mean, thoughts that something's up. At least 3-4 years ago. Don't think this is surprising or anything like that. It better be surprising to you. Because we know you wasted the past 3-4 years listening, thinking that you're getting something. We'll see where it goes. But they could have sent Austin Powers. They could have sent Mr. Bean. Turtle, turtle. Oh shit. Ah, laughter is good. I need that. I want some Austin Powers tonight. I'd watch them all consecutive tonight. Tonight, it's going to be a good one. Oh my gosh. You Moors are funny. Whew. You're not getting that in more side stuff like that. All you get is wade in the water. That's it. That's it. No laughing, no hugging, no nothing. Nothing. You're just gonna sit here. That was good. That was good. That was a good flashback. Mr. Bean and Austin Powers. Oh yeah, there it is. We don't want some Austin Powers tonight. Peace and love to all the wars. Inspector Gadget. Oh my gosh. These wars. Woo! These wars. Woo! Islam to all the wars worldwide. You know what they say the Moors? Yeah, say what do the Moors do? The Moors make you laugh. That's what the Moors do. What do the Moors have? The Moors got jokes. Too many, I can't read the chat. You're just gonna hear me laugh and think I'm nuts or whatever. Who knows nuts? He's just laughing for nothing. No, it's the chat that you can't see. These Moors losing it. Ace Ventura. Yes. Ace Ventura. That was a good one. That was a good one. Woo. Yes. Holy. These wars. These wars stupid. Goofy. These goofy wars. Doing dumb stuff. In the chat. Peace and love to all the wars worldwide. Don't forget tomorrow. We're gonna get serious. Tomorrow we're gonna get serious. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all. Laughing is good. Islam to all the Moors. Honors to all the mothers. Honors to the Prophet. Noble True Ali. Honors to all Moors. Islam.